In conversation around innovation and science for humanity, we're discussing a lot of science. How is the science we're doing directly impacting the society? So today we have Professor Usisipho from UNISA, a C2 rated NRF researcher. But I will not take it any further because I don't want to butcher anything. Prof, can you please introduce yourself?
Thank you, Mbendelo, for the invite.
Yes.
My name is Usisipho Feleni, an associate professor and a thematic area leader under the Institute for Nanotechnology and Water Sustainability.
Okay. So, what is it that you do at UNISA?
My main work at UNISA is that I supervise students on nanotechnology applications. So what we do is we synthesize various nanomaterials and use them as a platform for developing tools for monitoring pharmaceutical contaminants in water.
Okay. So we believe that science is for humanity. The taxpayers, we must explain it to them. So when it comes to nanotechnology, I find it very core science. How do you manage to break it down to the general public to understand what nanotechnology is?
Normally, we visit schools
Okay.
from disadvantaged backgrounds, especially in the Eastern Cape, because I come from there. So when we explain what nanotechnology or nanotechnology and applications is all about, we always talk about materials that cannot be seen with the naked eye. So we make an example of a hair that you cannot really see hair, but if you are using a microscope, you are able to see the level
Yes.
or the diameter of the hair.
Yes.
So we usually talk about that you cannot see that with the naked eye. But what is important about nanomaterials is that we look at their shapes, their sizes, and their structures, and then we utilize them for developing systems that can be useful not only for research pathways but also for the community. So we do these nanotechnologies for water, for energy, because we have crisis in terms of energy in South Africa, and we showcase these skills to learners so that they can have a spark in science.
You seem to be very passionate about learners from back in Eastern. Are you from Eastern Cape, and what's the background there?
I am from Kofinvaba.
Okay.
And growing up, of course, we did not have any laboratories. So the reason why I'm always talking or emphasizing about disadvantaged places is because, when you want to go to the university, you always have anxiety to think, oh, am I going to the lab? How am I going to perform? Because they have never had a hands-on experience. Hence, now we take science, or what we call exhibits, mobile exhibits, so that we can improve the curiosity of learners to take up spaces in science.
Yeah. Professor level needs a lot of passion but what inspired you to pursue nanotechnology, given you coming from your background?
It is an interesting story, though, because when I always talk about my own stories, that I had somebody at home who passed away because of HIV, and I really wanted to be a doctor. Remember, I said I never had a role model or anybody to, spark that science field into my life. So what had happened is that I met a supervisor whereby I said I wanted to come up with something that would solve issues related to HIV. So then my supervisor then spoke about nanotechnology. It was a starting research trend in 2011. So that's when I started to develop quantum dots, which were less than 5 nanometers in range.
Okay. So I hear about the nanotechnology part. Can you take us through in the water research? What are you doing there?
In terms of the water research, we are developing systems using these nanomaterials. So the whole essence of using nanomaterials is because they can promote electrons or make a fast response in terms of the performance of the tools we are developing. So we develop electrochemical sensors or electrocatalytic systems that would detect the amount of contaminants in water and also purify the water, because we are trying to align our research with the sustainable goal number 6 that has to do with clean water and sanitation.
Okay. Before I ask you if your research is directly impacting the society, I saw in your bio there's something about COVID-19. How did your research impact the society during COVID-19 pandemic?
you'll have to remember that we were on lockdown for a longest period of time. And also, we have to understand that a lot of funding would really come when we are developing system to solve the urgent, urgent platform or urgent, outbreak. So in this case, we were developing electrochemical biosensors using aptamers that were actually able to capture and convert the SARS-CoV biomarker to an active metabolite, and also to actually highlight where are the hot spots so that we can communicate with the government and stakeholders.
Okay. So do we have any other example of how your research has impacted the society?
Of course, one of my research is based on developing tools for breast cancer, HIV, TB, because I'm talking about diabetes as well. So we do research on diagnostic tools, not only on water, and we also do some research on energy field because of electricity crisis in South Africa.
Okay. What advice do you have for young people that will inspired and like, I want to be like her? Do you have any advice for our future as scientists in nanotechnology and water research?
Okay, I'll just break it down first that there are these, policies that have been put into place. We have the National Development Plan 2030, the National Innovation System, and of course the Africa Agenda 2063 that aligns with training the youth or women.
Yes.
So what my advice is that we have a lot of challenges in South Africa or globally. So one of the things that the upcoming generation would do is that they would try and resolve the issues that we are facing, be it in health, be it in energy, be it in global warming.
Okay, I see that. So I feel like it's aligning to this question of breakthroughs that you'd like to see in the next 10 years in your field of nanotechnology and water research. Does it?
Yes, of course. One of the things that I would like to see in the next 10 years is we have to push the mandate of innovation. Innovation meaning creating companies. So we are taking these systems that we are developing in the lab and ensuring that we upscale or working with industries so that we can have companies that will create more jobs, because we have to align with what is, the policies are saying about we need to create jobs for the next generation, not only lab-based, but also interacting with industries and stakeholders so that we can have more jobs for the next generation.
Okay. Let's say a policy maker or decision maker, someone in power is watching our video. How can they support people or you and all the students that you are supervising? How can they support you guys in your field of study?
Of course, it has to be funding. They have to fund the students, because without funding, the research will not carry on. They have to also fund the innovation that we are pushing in order for us to interact with industries and have these systems in the market. We're talking about commercialization. So in order for us to create prototypes, we need a lot of funding from the stakeholders, from funding bodies, so that we can push our mandate and have more learners coming in to gain more skill.
If there's one thing you want people to remember about your research, what would that be?
My work on water, the impact and influence on the technologies that we are creating in South Africa.
Okay. Before I close, I see a lot of posts on awards. This doctor is there, prof is there, you are there. Can you please take us through the awards? Especially this year, you've been so busy. What has been happening?
My God, there's been a lot of, traveling for different awards. And, these awards are actually nationally. I was nationally recognized by the National Science Technology Forum. We call it Science Oscar. And that one has to do with a lot of impact in terms of the work on not only water, but also, health in South Africa in the past 6 years.
Wow.
So I've also been part of the South African Women in Science, which recognized my work on developing tools for ensuring that women are having quality life, because I was developing tools for breast cancer. So also in terms of the Standard Bank, because I do a lot of work in terms of, community and training learners. So I was also recognized as a STEM leader, which, meant a lot to me, that I'm building, the next generation and having a lot of impact in terms of ensuring that the next generation has a role model in science. And of course, in terms of this year of NRF, how can I forget
Of course,
NRF
how can you?
for imaging researchers
Yes.
for my work on, sensors for health as well as water purification.
Wow. Congratulations on all of this recognition. We are also, even if we're not commenting, but we are seeing we're getting inspired. You are really doing the most. Any other things that we left out, looking forward to in the Science Forum?
I'm looking out to learn a lot from, different people who have come from variety of the institution.
Okay.
So that's my,
Thank you so much, Professor. I don't know why I keep on saying doctor. That was it from Professor Usisipho from UNISA.